Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. It is Thursday evening, 7 p.m. And I'm just going to go live here on my Facebook group just to see who is going to be joining me tonight, just so that I see comments and everything. So I have to actually pull it up on my phone because I am using StreamYard. And in case you want to comment or engage with me, please do allow StreamYard to access your profile, and then I will also see your comments here on my screen. Otherwise, I will just pull up my screen here on my phone, and then I have the comments here as well. Perfect. So just like in the masterclass series last week, I think it's great if you hop on live and to join me live here, just hashtag live in the comment. If you watch this in the replay, hashtag replay, put hashtag replay in the comments, and then I know how many people are watching, how many people are engaging, if these topics that I'm picking on my Thursday live streams are resonating with you, if this is something that's a good topic that we can discuss a little bit further in the future, or I can create more content around. So that is why I would ask you to just put hashtag live or hashtag replay in the comments. That would be great. Before we get started on that wonderful topic of meal planning, simple tips on how to get the meal planning done, just a quick update of what's happening in my world. So you might have seen it in the group, or you might have seen it on Instagram. I actually have opened up enrollment for my new 3-month signature high touch group coaching program. It's a 3-month program in which I enroll for a beta price this round only because it's a brand new program that I put together. I am enrolling 6 ladies into this program in 2021. And it's going to be over the course of 3 months. And we are dedicating our time in the first month on gut repair, on digestion absorption, on really trying to get those nutrients into your system. In month 2, it's going to be all about detoxification pathways, supporting those. And in month number 3, we'll talk about stress management and adrenal health. So all of those 3 key pillars that absolutely need to be addressed in order to consistently, sustainably move forward in your health, so that you can actually find relief from your symptoms, that your body will start to rebalance. I'm super excited about this program, and enrollment is open. I have 3 wonderful ladies enrolled in it already. We're starting on September 13th. So if this is something you would consider for yourself, to take the guesswork out of nutrition, take the guesswork out of the confusion around what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, how to support your gut, how to support your adrenals, how to support your liver, then this is for you if you really want to stop spinning in circles and want to really learn the tools that you will have to apply consistently throughout your life in order to see sustainable health with a chronic disease, autoimmune, or chronic inflammation, then this is the program for you. If you would like to hop on board for this round, doors are open now, and please just reach out to me, send me a message, and we can just have a conversation to see if this might be something that you could be benefiting from long term. This is what it's all about. So that's just my update. But let's talk about meal planning tonight, okay? So sometimes we just have to simplify things. Sometimes we just have to scale things back. I'm going to give you a quick example here. So I actually had a wonderful conversation with a client today, and it was her last call with me today. And what really stood out, what she thanked me for was, which was wonderful to hear, was that she said, thank you for allowing me to take a step back and allowing me to um, to calm down, to simplify, and to have patience with myself. Um, and that is really something as in like an overall theme when it comes to starting to tackle nutrition and lifestyle changes in general in your life with an autoimmune. When we are being diagnosed, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my personal update information around this as well in a minute, is that we are overwhelming ourselves. It's not just the information, conflicting information that's out there and, sending us in all kinds of different directions. It is our sense of we want to, sometimes we want to just go all in, do everything all at once in order to see all of the good results, in order to get healthy, and then be done with it and just have our lives back and keep moving forward. So what oftentimes happens is that we're having this spark of motivation, and we are being inclined on bettering our health and really getting back on track, and then we're going out there, we're buying all the groceries, right? Without any plan. So we go to the grocery store, we fill up the cart with all those wonderful whole foods. We'll bring them back home. We stuff the fridge full of them, and then guess what? That food is going to sit in the fridge, and by the end of the week, we haven't touched, you know, half of it, and the rest is going to go bad. Why is that? We have all of these good intentions, which is amazing, which is great. But what we don't have in the beginning, or oftentimes what is difficult to develop, is habits that really help us to implement all of these changes that we want to see. Um, Creating lifestyle habits that will help us consistently, sustainably, to make use of the whole foods that we're buying. And for me personally, and that might resonate with you as well, is when we are, number one, when we're not feeling well, we don't have, let's say, the bandwidth or the energy to come up with recipes and meals on the spot. It's we have so much on our plate already. There's a lot of fatigue, there's a lot of lack of energy, there's a lot of brain fog going on, there's a lot of just physical being unwell, having pain or whatever, which makes it really, really difficult to then, when the time comes, 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or whatever it is, okay, dinner time is here. What am I going to make for dinner? And then trying to figure out on the spot on what to actually grab out of the fridge and how to prepare it and how to put it into meals is very difficult and can be very discouraging. Um, no matter, regardless of how good your intentions are, especially when you're busy. For me personally, was I was working a full-time job. I had to commute downtown, which was an hour. My husband was working long hours as well. So we basically, at the end of the day, we met in the kitchen at 6 p.m., sometimes 7 p.m. And then we had a discussion, okay, what are we going to eat? What's for dinner? And then, my husband wanted this and I wanted something else. And it turned into like a whole discussion and argument. And it was not helping. And this was also when I started to have like really, really bad Hashimoto's symptoms and all of these things. Or then later on, what happened is that I had the toddlers, right? I had my two girls and they were under the age of 5. And I was in my absolute, midst of all of the Hashimoto's craziness symptoms in my life, and was barely capable of looking after myself and my girls. And then coming up at 5 o'clock with something to think of to cook was just, it wasn't working. So, what we have done is we have created a whole routine around meal planning. And this can make your life so much easier, regardless of how many people you have in the house, regardless of whether you have, maybe children that have a different diet or are picky or whatever it is, which I will share with you in a minute. So, for example, my daughter, she decided she's going to be 13 this year. So she decided to become vegetarian last year. And now we have to plan around this as well. However, with the system that we have created, it makes it fairly simple to do that. So it's all about simplicity. It's all about simplicity. And we have so much on our plates already. If we are just starting to create this framework, within we can be flexible, but if we have that framework set in place, our lives will become so much easier around mealtime and meal planning for everybody. So I'm going to give you some really simple tips that in our family we have adopted, and I find that this is really working really, really well, and this might be also helping you a lot. And you know, no matter what situation you are in your family setting, key is to keep it really, really simple, and put that framework in place, and then stick with it and create the foundation and the habit around the meal planning on a regular basis, and you will see that it'll become so much easier because you know exactly what to have in the evening, you know exactly when to prepare it, and you know exactly when to pull those recipes together. So what we do is, to take the stress out of meal planning, and the discussions out of meal preparation, all of it is, number one is pick a day. So pick a day of the week in which the entire family is together. And I think that is an important part. I think the entire family has to be involved so that everybody's on the same page, everybody has a say. um, for us personally, it's Sunday mornings. Sunday mornings works really, really well because we are, sorry, not Sunday, Saturday. We do it on Saturday mornings, because we are having breakfast together as a family on Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings is our grocery shopping day. So what we do is, and everybody knows that, after we're done with breakfast, we actually sit together, and every person in the house is allowed to pick one of their favorite recipes for the week. So, what we do is we pull out our recipe library. So, we have a basket full of printed out recipes at home, which we really, really like, our favorites. So, this is our basket of favorite recipes. What we do then is, um, number one, we're looking at seasonal foods. So if you need to go to a website in order to find out what's in season, do that. That is from a nutrition perspective, because seasonal foods are the most nutritious food for your body, especially if it's local, of course. So we are basically, that is our first step. We're looking at the seasonal foods that there are out there right now. And then we are trying to find recipes that include the seasonal foods. What we do every Saturday morning is we go through our box of favorite recipes. Everybody is allowed to pick one favorite recipe for the week. So in our household, we have 4 people, which covers 4 meals already, right? So my daughter, like I said, she's vegetarian. So on one day, we all gonna have a vegetarian meal. My other one, she's very much into, the hearty, meaty stuff. So we're picking a hearty soup, or a hearty um, crock pot meal or whatever it is. So we're going through the recipes that way. Then we have our favorite recipe links saved on our browser, which we then go in and we can actually search for those specific seasonal ingredients that we would like to include and look at recipes that pop up. Then we are picking those recipes on the Saturday morning and we are putting it all on paper. So we're putting it on paper because we need to know exactly which recipes we're choosing. And then what we're doing is we are actually going in as we go through the recipes, we are actually going into each recipe and write out the ingredients that are necessary for this specific recipe. So when we are done with that, by the end of it, we have a whole list of recipes in one column, and we have another column with all of the ingredients that are needed for the recipes. Then what we do is we go into our fridge and we look at the leftover vegetables that we still have in the fridge. Usually, we don't have very many because we are at a point where we only specifically buy what we need for the recipes. So this is a really big benefit. Instead of going to the grocery store without a plan, without a meal plan, without knowing what you're going to be cooking the next week, you end up with a whole lot of food in your cart. And I can tell you from experience, and I hear it all the time, is that a lot of it is being wasted and not being used because you're running out of ideas on how to implement the foods into your meal plan. So that is the kind of like the wrong way of setting things up. If you have the meals planned out, if you have the ingredients, you only shop for the ingredients that you need for those recipes. Okay, so that is number two. So when we have that, then we're looking at the days of the week when we are going to make the specific meals that we have picked out. Because some meals will take more time to prepare, and some meals will take less time to prepare. And we're actually putting those meals into our calendar. So we have a family calendar in the kitchen where we write down our activities and what everybody's up to. And then we are actually adding our meals to that calendar at the bottom. So number one, we know exactly what we're going to be having on each day. Number two, we can decide which days are good for which meals depending on preparation time. If the evenings are busy because of activities or whatever it is, then we're picking a meal that is really fairly simple to assemble. If we have more time, then we are picking the ones for those days that are taking a little bit more time to prepare. So you can see there's a framework that we have created, right? Number one, on Saturday morning, we know exactly what we're going to be eating next week. We know exactly the ingredients that we're needing for the meals. We know exactly on which days we are having which meal. There's no more guessing. You take the guesswork out of your meal planning entirely. And this might sound rigid for some, and I get it. And I have to say that, even though we're pretty consistent with what we're doing because it just works so well for us, it's almost like you're creating this machine. It's almost like it's such a great habit. It almost turns into a self-paced thing that we can't really live without anymore. But of course, sometimes, things happen in life, and then we are being, thrown off a little bit, and that's okay too. But you have created this framework, just like I explained to you, and this will allow you to really take the stress out of it and to know exactly what you're having on each day, when to prepare it, how to prepare it, what ingredients are needed. You know that you have all the ingredients in the fridge, and it just creates that really nice framework that you can use on a daily basis. So let me see if I have everything covered. I wanted to say a few more things, I think. Yeah, so everybody gets a favorite recipe. I think this is very important because oftentimes with picky eaters is if just one person is in charge of creating the meals, then there can be a lot of discussion that's coming up within the family, a lot of complaints, a lot of hard feelings, and that's not what we want for mealtime, right? So if everybody gets something that they like, then on the other day when it's not their favorite meal, there's no complaining. They can't complain about it because it's fair to everybody. Everybody gets their turn, whether that's children or whether that's your husband. It's going to be really helpful that way. Um, yeah, so we talked about the calendar. You could also, I know we don't do that because we put that on a whiteboard. So we have a whiteboard in our kitchen. But if you want to, you can actually put it on a spreadsheet as you go along. And then you can print that spreadsheet out and you can post it on the kitchen even. You can print it out and hang it up on the kitchen, so that everybody is aware of what's happening on a day. Um, yeah, so and that is really the framework of the meal planning per se that we're doing, and it has helped us as a family tremendously to keep consistency in, to keep variety in, because otherwise what happens oftentimes is that we are rotating, we're rotating through the same old recipes that we know how to cook well, that are a hit with the family, and then we're not diversifying. And we talked about diversifying so much, which if you focus on seasonal foods, and if you actually take your time and think about what ingredients you would like to include and search them up in recipes and print those out, that just opens up variety and diversity into your diet automatically. So I hope that was helpful. Maybe one day I will also talk about meal preparation. So, how to go about, now that you have this framework in place, and now that you know how to schedule out your days and your ingredients and all that, how do you actually do the meal prepping? So, this is the next step, really. But I hope this was helpful. Those tips that I just presented you with is going to be hopefully making a difference in your life as well. And let me know if this was helpful, and you know what you take from this video. I'd like to hear. And I will see you again in a week from now, next week on Thursday, for the next Thursday live stream. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you again very soon.